Does practice really make perfect? And should we make our children or ourselves practice for a certain length of time? Does this truly build intrinsic motivation and a love for music? Let's explore some thoughts about practice charts, length of practice, and tips for making music at home. Hi there, I'm Kylie, and we love to share easy tips and tricks to inspire the love of music here at our music studios. I had a new teenage student begin lessons with me recently. We had a fantastic first session, and she played pieces that she knew really well with strong rhythm and musical expression. I threw in some new ideas of chord progressions, explore some thoughts about how she wanted to extend these pieces and aims that she had for her sessions. At the end of the lesson, her mum asked the question, "So how much practice are you going to do each day?" As we pull apart this practice quandary that many young musicians and their families have, let's check out some practice spots that help my family to connect with their music each day, without having to say, "Go and do your practice." We have our main amp system set up downstairs in the music room, but often either I'm teaching or someone else is on the piano or drums. Knock, knock. This is just a little amp that's easy to plug and play and handy for our son to grab a hold of to use whenever he wants. Knock, knock. This is my room and backup place for practicing. If the house is noisy or my son's band is practicing downstairs, then this is a place that I can come to and make some noise. It's awesome to hear beautiful tunes and vocals floating around in the evenings. Knock, knock. Having an instrument out of the case and ready to grab lets my daughter and husband make some sounds through the evening when they're free to do that. Having mirrors, a suitable corner to set up and work in quietly or have easy access is really essential to being able to practice. Adapting your home to support your instrument choices is also really important. Back to the chat with the student's mum. So I jumped in when the question was asked of how much practice to do and suggested that this is a really great conversation to have between the three of us, between the parent, between the teacher, and between the student, so that we're all on the same page. Mum thought that about 30 minutes a day was about right to have as a practice time, but I suggested that she saw how much the student, first of all, had to work on. It was their very first lesson, and I didn't want them to start their music journey with this pressure of counting each minute that they were having to do, but to rather be inspired and see what different areas they could work on and wanted to grow. I recommended that she have a time set aside each day, whether it was 7:30 in the morning if that worked for their family, or perhaps in the afternoons or evenings. So this time could be set aside for playing, but not to set a minimum length of time. And all going well, as she grabbed onto new ideas, then soon her mum wouldn't be able to get her off the piano. With our own children at home, we have created a daily time that they can work at their instrument and that they can go and grow their skills. For the younger children, this has often worked better in the mornings, and for the older ones more into high school, then sometimes the afternoons after school or early evenings might also work better for them. Usually they are very engaged and love enjoying time on their instrument and working at their pieces or at their new challenges. Often we've included making music or playing an instrument as part of their daily list of jobs to do or their daily timetable that they put up on their walls. But once again, we don't look at setting a minimum time. We encourage them to just go and play something, and suddenly that time becomes a big music session that they're enjoying and they're wanting to grow new ideas. Sometimes it's easier or more dramatic to put down a list of don'ts. So parents, here's a list for you to zip down through of some don'ts for your house. Don't leave your instruments untuned. Unpack it and tune it with YouTube or online, or ask your family's music teacher to teach you. Don't have the piano or other instruments in the TV room. This doesn't work. Keep it accessible nearby where it's hard not to see it. Definitely not in its case and not in the back cupboard or under the bed. Don't leave your instrument in the case. It's a sad violin that's left in the car or left alone at the front door all week.
Play me, why won't you play me? I'm trapped in the dark all alone. I'm sad and quiet. Where is my song?
Now that our kids are moving into high school or onto other instruments, then we are investing in our kids' instruction with other music teachers as well. Sometimes we have a chat with our family about our financial commitment and how if we're investing each week financially, then we're asking for them to commit to growing their skills. Before I share a quote of the day, then if you're enjoying the content, I'd love for you to subscribe, and a thumbs up is the best compliment you can give. A bird doesn't sing because it has an answer. It sings because it has a song. Our aim as a teacher or parent should be to foster this internal song and desire to play and grow and share. We can never expect someone to be forced to do something and then to love it. A connection with music needs to be cultivated and encouraged, not forced into action. So many young musicians have stopped playing as soon as they possibly can because they have not been encouraged to find a style of music that brings them to life. I'd love for you to share some comments below to share any strategies that you've used or that your students have used to help with their practicing. To improve your practice and to induce changes in the brain, then your practice must include these following aims. Each student will choose different pieces that they are emotionally connected with. Students need to also have fun with their music and have time for enjoyment and play pieces that are fun for them. So they need to make sure that they have time for this. This playing for fun and enjoyment of music is essential. We can encourage questions like, how do I want to grow as a musician? Who do I want to be like, and what styles do I enjoy? What am I aiming to do today and this term and this year with my music? What can I play that helps my technique to grow? What improvements can I see with my playing? And what areas aren't working? How can I improve this part? Let's make a tally and color code this area. And until that color's improved, I'm going to work at that. Let's make it so that it's super easy. Last week, a little girl loved counting this up and making sure that her color was super easy before she moved on, and she was really her very own picky little music teacher to work at each section and really nail it. Sometimes extrinsic motivation can help to create a new habit or can bring about a change with something that we're trying to work on. In the past, I've tried lolly jars and collecting points or having prize boxes. The novelty of these soon wore off and there wasn't any lasting momentum. Always, the best growth and sense of accomplishment comes from intrinsic motivation and connection with each student's interests and sense of accomplishment when they share performances and playback recordings and other casual ways to share. So, may you inspire lots of music making. As parents and teachers, let's ask questions that bring alive the spirit of music. Encourage internal satisfaction and a deep growth and enjoyment of music in our homes. So, don't practice because you have an answer, but practice because you have a song.